Greetings, seekers of the truth, in the midst of this swamp of half-baked ideas we call government. Welcome to another installment of these video columns that, more than journalistic work, sometimes feel like a real-time autopsy of our realities. Because what we see in the National Palace isn't just tantrums, it's the perfect X-ray of a government that is falling apart under its own contradictions. Welcome to this space where the truth, even if it stings some people, comes to light. Without further ado, let's get to it. It turns out that the lady who claims to govern, Mrs. Sheinbaum, the one who boasts about being the scientist of order and reason, lost her temper. Yeah. But she didn't lose her temper with the opposition or the critics. She lost it with her own super cop, the discount Batman Omar Garcia Harfuch, based on the leaks. And we know more things leak out of that palace than water seeps through in the rainy season, after posing for the soccer photo and congratulating the cabinet in public. The same old theater, the Judas kiss on national television. Things changed drastically once the cameras were turned off. When leaving, the order was clear, loud, and to be honest, pretty pathetic. Only I talk about Rocha Moya, said Chachis. Exactly, censorship comes from the top, not from outside. Claudia has decided that reality is a product that only she can manage. Why? Because the Rocha Moya issue is a hot potato that's burning their hands, their gloves, and even their desk. But let's take a closer look at the logic of stupidity. Let's break down this political genius, because the confusion of the inept president during the conference was legendary. Sheinbaum stated with that confidence that characterizes her, even if it's unfounded, that there is no trial against Rocha Moya. You know, she's still protecting that bastard. But a second later, for the umpteenth time, she demands proof. So, what is it, then, ma'am? If there's no trial, what proof are you asking for? Proof for what? For the file? For an investigation file that only exists in your imagination. It's an absurdity that only someone living in a bubble of power can articulate without blushing. She admitted there's a request for arrest for extradition purposes. Bravo, excellent. But you know what's missing in that equation? The arrest. I mean, we have an extradition order for a person who, ironically, isn't detained. Who are they going to extradite? His shadow? The concept of Rocha Moya? The narco governor seems to be invisible. You can't even find him on Google Maps. And this is where our dear Harfuch comes in, the man who supposedly had security under control. Now he's gone silent. When reporters asked questions, the official narrative fell apart. He stated, with the seriousness of someone reciting a poorly learned script, that Rocha Moya doesn't have bodyguards. Seriously, Omar, do you want us to believe that a governor, former or whatever he is now, from the most dangerous state in the country, walks around alone on public transportation buying his own tacos? It's an insult to the intelligence of any citizen. The reality, which we all know but they refuse to admit, is that they don't know where he is. The man vanished on them. The narco governor is in a legal and geographical limbo that interestingly coincides with the moments when the justice system of the United States starts to apply more pressure. Is it incompetence or is it complicity? I would say it's a dangerous mix of both. Let's remember that just over 30 days ago, Ruben Rocha Moya decided that the stress was too much and requested a temporary leave. However, since then, it seems like the man simply vanished, as if he had been sucked into a black hole. Congress, very obedient and diligent, as always when it comes to covering for their own, granted him a 30-day leave to be investigated. How touching! Just imagine who you here can ask for a month off at work to be investigated for alleged ties to organized crime and still keep getting paid. Of course, only if you're part of the golden political class of this country. The million peso question isn't just where he is, but who's in charge. Because there is an interim governor, that's true, but it's a government that's falling apart in a state that's still dealing with insecurity, violence, and uncertainty. The cynicism is brutal. They claim if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. So if he has nothing to hide, why won't he show his face? Why is he hiding behind a temporary leave? It's not even a resignation. It's more like a, I'll be right back. Just let things cool down a bit. The opposition in Sinaloa, and rightfully so, is shouting that this is a mockery. They're demanding the lifting of his immunity. They're demanding accountability. But guess what? They're just going to string them along until they get tired. The system is designed for impunity. But the clock keeps ticking. Uncle Sam is watching closely. This is where the joke stops being funny. In the United States, they're not exactly known for having a lot of patience with "we'll see," lack of information, refusal to cooperate, and the attitude of "I'm in charge here, and only I talk about this." These are signals that Washington reads perfectly: obstruction. A strong response from the North is expected in the coming days. And when that happens, don't come to me with stories about sovereignty and imperialism, because sovereignty is respected when you have control over your territory. And if you don't even know where one of your most notorious figures is, then you don't have control over anything. Dear cultured and knowledgeable audience, we have a government fighting its own ghost, a government where the boss shouts orders out of fear that someone might reveal an uncomfortable truth. Rocha Moya is just a reminder that while they fight in the hallways of the National Palace, reality is catching up with them. And it's not a reality they can control with a press conference. What happened with Ruben Rocha Moya is not an isolated case. It's the symptom of a chronic disease, absolute impunity. That a public servant can afford to disappear is a disaster. The state is falling apart. It's a punch in the face for a government that has turned it into a declaration of principles. I rule, I leave, I hide, and you just have to put up with it. Will he come back? Who knows? Maybe he'll show up tomorrow saying he was on a spiritual retreat, or maybe we'll see him in a photo in an American courtroom. Meanwhile, Sinaloa is still the state where the governor is an urban legend. Don't be fooled by the official story. Absence is also an answer, and in the case of Rocha Moya, silence screams louder than any official speech. On the other hand, it turns out that according to the polls coming out of the offices where Morena's miracles are printed, everything is under control. But who believes that? Let's be clear. The speed at which the ruling party is losing support is no surprise to anyone with half a brain. It's fascinating to see how hard they try. They bring out their brightly colored charts, their trusted pollsters, the ones that curiously always have the numbers the boss wants to see. And they try to sell us the idea that the disapproval is just a seasonal adjustment. The disapproval isn't a seasonal whim. It's the direct result of seeing your tax money evaporate on projects that don't work, on security that's nowhere to be found, and on rhetoric that after 6 years already sounds like a broken record. Reality definitely doesn't live in the National Palace. I say this with complete confidence, and not because an algorithm told me, but because reality isn't found on the desk of a political consultant paid with public funds. Reality is out there, where the average citizen has to fend for himself. Reality is in the streets. It's in the price of groceries, which goes up every week faster than the egos of the cabinet secretaries. It's in the crime that forces businesses to close their shutters before sunset. Meanwhile, on official television, they tell us that things are going. It's in the disappointment of those who expected real change, only to find that just the names on the payroll changed. But the dirty tricks remain intact, or worse, they've become more sophisticated. The erosion isn't just a perception, it's a proven fact. When people stop applauding, it's not because they're conservative neoliberals or enemies of the transformation. It's because they're hungry, afraid, and above all, filled with an indignation they can't contain anymore. And that indignation can't be hidden with a social media video edited with inspiring music and a soap opera-style voiceover. And as an example, this video that's circulating on social media is a real gem. Watch how the good and wise people chase away a representative from Rosa Isela's Interior Ministry with insults. It's a real treat. Don't miss any detail.
It's not unfair to us. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Leave. Who wants to move? Leave. Leave out. Out, out. Out. Out.
Out, 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 out. I'll turn him upside down. Let's see. Let's get up early. Why are you insulting my mother?
The strategy of the ruling party has always been the same. If reality contradicts me, the problem is reality. That's why they need tailor-made polls. They need those inflated numbers that serve as a shield against criticism. Because if they accept that their approval is plummeting, they would have to admit that their humanism is nothing but hot air, that their administration is a monument to incompetence, and that eventually the house of cards will collapse on them. Claudia Sheinbaum and her team keep trying to walk a tightrope with a message that promised contiguity, but inherited the vices, corruption, and disorder of her predecessor. It's the old trick of giving people false hope, promising that next semester for real, this time security will improve, the economy will take off, and healthcare will be like in Denmark. But guess what? Denmark is still far away, and reality, right here on the corner, keeps slapping us in the face. So don't be fooled by paid headlines or by bots that, in a desperate attempt to defend the indefensible, repeat like parrots that we're on the right track. The road is crumbling beneath their feet. The lesson here is simple. Never, ever let a politician tell you how your life is going. You know how far your paycheck goes. You know how safe it is to walk in your neighborhood. You know who is lying to your face. Keep watching, keep questioning, and for God's sake, don't stop speaking out. Because as long as they keep fooling us or think they're doing it, they'll keep laughing while they take the country for a ride. I'll read your comments down below. Do you guys think Rocha Moya is going to show up, or is he already buying a one-way ticket to any country without extradition? And I want to take this opportunity to ask you another question completely unrelated to the topic. Do you want Che Marano to continue? I see a clear rejection of that segment. It has very few views compared to the commentary videos I'm in. Is it because it's a character created by artificial intelligence? Is it the character itself? Because the opinions expressed by the character are exactly the same as the ones I express, because in fact, it's me. I don't understand. To use that character with the intention of reaching a wider, younger audience, so that the message doesn't stay only among older people. But if they don't see it, don't support it, and don't share it, then it's useless. And I ask because in the end, what I do it for you, so that more people get involved in the public life of the country. Feedback is very important to improve. Anyway, I'll see you in the comments. See you on Friday. Remember that you can make your donations via PayPal. You can find the information in the comment box. Thanks to you, this channel stays active. It's very important to subscribe, like, and press the bell to receive notifications whenever there's new content. Thank you.